this is what you saw on the slide. So we'll start with this one. It's a magnet, so it holds in place when you're not using it. You have a right side and a blue side, so right and left. And then you have two more things, RECD and tele. It's color coded as well. So tele is for this, and the handle of the jack is green, and it's green right here.
Yes.
And the other one is for the RECD probe, and it's also color coded. It matches right here, okay? So we're gonna do these later. For now, we will pay attention to how to calibrate first, and then how to hook it to his ear, and then we'll continue the tests. So for the time's sake, we're gonna do just one side. I'm choosing the right side because I'm standing here instead of going to the other side. So we'll calibrate this one. Here's the right side, and there we go. Is this yours? I don't think so. So let's have an alcohol wipe. You can use this one as many times as you wish, as long as it's open and clean. Okay? So what we'll do, I'll take it off. I'll clean it with alcohol. And then visually you can inspect it and see if there is anything inside it. I don't see anything inside it.
Is this the microphone? It's gonna
No,
go
this
in?
is the probe tube.
Okay.
It will connect the microphone to his ear canal.
Oh, okay.
So if you look closely here, this top part, this is the, which microphone?
Reference?
The measuring microphone up here.
Oh.
It will be connected to the probe.
Where's the reference mic?
And here is the reference microphone.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So now we want to calibrate. We will take this one, flip it, and connect it to this little
Close to the
handle.
reference.
And now we have the opening of the tube close to the reference microphone.
Mhm.
Now we're ready to calibrate. We can hold this only, or we can mount it on this one.
Which-
and then there we go.
So much easier that way.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But make sure that the opening of this reference microphone is facing outward.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So now we will hold it close to the speaker. Distance doesn't matter, but I wouldn't do it this far. I'm not calibrating the distance. I'm calibrating that both microphones are measuring the same thing. If I'm closer like this, there is a bigger chance of capturing the sound of the speaker over the background noise. So just hold in place, and then you can go to calibrate. Okay, now right and left, right? So we are on which one? Right side. So calibrate this one. So everybody now should be quiet. Perfect. You see this wiggly line?
Yeah.
Again, it's around the zero, but now you see the wiggly line. Why?
Because of the tube.
Resonance of the tube. So this microphone is not naked, this microphone is naked.
Yeah.
The resonance of the tube is this wiggly line. It's
Yeah.
the difference between the two. So why there is a difference between the two? Just because one of them has a tube on it. So now calibration is good on the right side. We go back to the main screen. We'll start with speech mapping first.
Yeah.
So with speech mapping, you go to real ear, not the other side, because now we want to test it in his ear. And the first thing we start, is this correct ear? No. So right click, choose right.
Yes.
And now his hearing aid is an open fit. Right? It's open fit?
No.
Not?
It's receiver in the ear.
Okay, but is it open or an ear mold?
In the
Ear mold. So we'll do BTE setup then.
Mhm.
Actually, no, we can't do open because I will do. It's not open and it's not BTE, so the ear canal resonance, if you choose BTE, is wrong. We'll see if there is a difference between open and CIC,
Okay.
okay? Because the receiver is in the ear, and now the size of the ear canal is small. If I go with BTE, it's gonna assume that there is a big volume of the tubing in the ear. So I wouldn't choose that. I will choose this one or this one according to if it's occluded or open. So I will start with open. We can repeat with CIC and see the difference together. So we'll start with
If
open.
it's occluded?
Yes,
Okay.
and it's receiver in the ear.
Okay.
They should have actually a receiver in the ear occluded condition. They don't. Now, audiometry. This is not a child, so we'll pick and choose a DSL adult.
Yes.
Next semester, you will learn the differences between all of these and which one you should choose scientifically.
Okay.
But today, I'm choosing that for you.
Okay.
And then we did this hearing test using his ear mold or the foam, insert foam, right? So we did that. We are gonna enter the thresholds.
Yes.
We're not gonna do bone conduction because your hearing loss is sensorineural.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's gonna assume by its own.
Mhm.
Uncomfortable levels, we're going to use the averaged ones
Yes.
from the fitting formula, from this fitting formula.
Yes.
And RECD, we're going to measure it.
Okay.
Okay,
Enter is the one we should never put.
yes. So whether you do average from DSL or use the measure.
Okay.
Today we're going to show you how to measure it, because if you just choose average, we'll just skip it and use the numbers. So we're going to show you the measured one. We will do the RECD test using this one. So we'll be connecting this one here in his ear. I will show you in a minute. We can use his ear mold if we want.
Yeah.
You have another option, which is ear mold. Okay. Is this binaural fitting? Yes, it's part of binaural fitting.
Yes.
And then we say okay. Now we can enter the audiogram.
Okay, so.
Go ahead and enter your audiogram,
I remember.
because he knows that.
Yeah.
Your patient will not know that.
Okay, so this is. Oh wait, this one.
Take it down. Take it to. You can take it off, but put it at 70. Okay.
Okay, and the rest were 85.
Perfect. Okay. Actually, we don't need the 10K.
You don't need the 10K, and I don't think we need the 1.5 either.
Or the 8, right?
Yeah, the 8 is.
Yeah, we
But
don't
the
need
high
1.5.
frequency is going to end up going downwards.
That's okay. So we just need from 250 to 8K. Okay?
Okay.
Then we go next. And now we're gonna do the RECD. You can do the RECD here, or you can do it from the main screen. Both have the same steps. So here it says calibrate the transducer. The transducer is this one in here. Because now we are doing validation, we don't use that, right? We're gonna calibrate this one. Remember, the white ones are for couplers, for the validation. These are for verification. So we're gonna use this rubber band. Yes, the 0.4. I don't recommend that you place this while connected to the microphone. You will damage it. So take off the coupler, connect it, and now connect this one to it, and see RECD. We connected here. Perfect. So we'll put this one here. Honestly, it doesn't matter if you put it anywhere, because we're not relying on the sound coming out of the speaker.
Yep.
You can put it anywhere, and that's it. So now, to see the screen, we'll say calibrate. Look at this. It gives you the instruction what to do,
Okay.
so you can't make a mistake. Once the curve stabilizes, hit OK. The funny thing is, it's only designed to calibrate this transducer. So it's always going to give you this one. So I was wondering why not save it in the system and skip this stage, but that's okay. Now, we say OK. It asks us to calibrate his real ear. So we'll take this one off. We'll connect the foam tip. We'll connect this to his shirt. So connect it to his shirt. Right
What's
there.
the purple tube thing? Oh, it's connected
Yeah.
to. Okay.
Okay. So now we'll place it in his ear. Wait until it holds in place. Because this is receiver in the ear, try to get a deep insertion. So now it's in place, I think. Okay. And calibrate again. It tells you what to do. So we're missing something. What is that?
The tube.
Because we need a microphone to measure inside what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Here, we had the microphone right here. So now, if you forget, you can always remember by reading the instruction. You take this one, and before you put that, then you have to hook this one up. If you can see, please come and see on this side. So, we place it, then we insert. We can measure always and mark it, but I don't need to.
Do you want me to do it?
So
No,
we-
it doesn't hurt or anything. It just feels
No.
ticklish a bit.
So we placed that first. Now I get ready here. Then I hold this one in place, and then I push this one inside. Okay, until it stabilizes.
Yep.
And then I let it go. Now we're ready. So you can't forget. You forget, it reminds you.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm.
So, now it's measuring. Once it stabilizes, we record. How about that? Now, this is the real ear measurement compared to the coupler measurement.
Yes.
I think maybe something went wrong because this is too much less than that. So what could be wrong? Maybe the tube is not inserted deep enough and it's holding against the foam tip and the wall of the ear canal. So maybe I need to insert it a little bit deeper.
So we have to have it as
So-
deep as possible.
Yeah, or maybe this one is clogged. So I just want to make sure that we got something correct. Reinsert again. And I will get just another one just in case.
I see.
Because the difference between the two is too big. I'm just double checking to make sure that that's okay. So let's measure again. Now it's getting better. See my point?
Okay.
So when it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. So if you see something that is way off, then something might be wrong here, okay? So what could be wrong? Actually, I do that on purpose so that you would learn, guys. So now, make sure that the tip of the tube is deeply inserted beyond the ear tip. Otherwise, it will be stuck between the ear tip and the canal wall, and you will get a wrong result. So how did I know? Because it's way off what I'm expecting. So look deeper into things. Now this is acceptable, and as you can see, the coupler would expect the green line, but what actually happens in his ear, a little bit less here and a little bit more here. So the difference between the two is this line.
Okay.
The RECD averaged values coming from the DSL are shown as the dashed line. So you can see there is some differences between the two, right? So now, because we asked the system to implement the measured RECD, it will implement this line, not the dashed line. Okay. So now, so now we're ready to continue.
We presented a sound into the ear and into the coupler to get the.
Yes, through this one.
Okay.
We measured here. So now, let's see the hearing loss simulator. If anybody is interested in learning how this guy hears without his hearing aids. So, with a telephone, it's not that significant. Let's do talker. That's with his hearing loss. This is how it should be.
Hear and listen.
Yes.
Tell me about work. How was your day?
I don't want to talk about
That's average talker.
The less I talk
him,
about work, the better I feel.
Without the
especially-
hearing aids, he hears like
Okay,
this.
so
Which is nothing because we're not reaching his thresholds. What about if we fix half of his hearing loss? This is halfway.
how was your day?
That's crazy.
Can
But
we?
he should hear like this.
What you telling them?
I'm telling you, that's probably what I'm going to do. Is not do it.
You're just gonna sit here and listen.
Yes.
Tell
So
me about
now
work.
you should
How was your
admire
day?
I
Jason.
don't want to talk about
Yeah.
King
The
Jason.
less I talk
Yeah.
about work, the better I feel.
After this, we'll
especially-
enter a different sloping
Okay, so
hearing
you're not
loss
gonna be
and
able to do this. Is that what
simulate
you're
that as
telling
well.
them?
I'm telling you, that's probably
So the
what I'm
halfway,
gonna
he'd be
do.
hearing half
You're just gonna sit
the.
here.
Like
and
that.
listen?
This is halfway.
Vicky, you can hear the high
So he barely hears the
It
threshold.
sounds like that. Oh my god.
Okay.
And this is without his hearing
Yeah.
aids. It's
I
at
can't-
the average level. It's inaudible to him
Wow,
unless they
okay.
shout.
Yeah, someone
can
has
hear.
to be shouting for me to hear without
Yep.
my hearing aids.
Good. So that's simulation. It's a very handy tool for counseling. So let's go and do now the real ear measurements or the speech mapping. Okay. So now we're going to use his hearing aid, right?
Mhm.
So I take off this part. We're done with RECD. So no need for this one. Now we need his hearing aid, and same thing. When I insert the tube, remember if something goes wrong, it will show here unexpected results. So you have to make sure that this one is functioning, it's on, and when you insert it, the tip of the probe needs to exceed that part to be between the mold and the TM.
That we can see it, huh?
But as I showed you before, if something goes wrong, you will see the result there. And that's a common mistake in your facts. Okay. So now we place the hearing aid, we turn it on. This is the part where you need to practice actually. And we just insert that. All good?
Perfect.
Okay, so now let's record the first recording. Now, because if this is an open fit, it asks you to do equalization. Equalization, if this is an open fit. It's not an open fit, but we're going to treat it as if it's an open fit. Then we'll repeat it as a CIC.
Okay.
I want to show you this step because when it says equalize, just read the instruction. It says turn the hearing aid off. It will record the ear canal resonance while it's off, so that it will make corrections for that, for the open fits. So now we'll say equalize. And by the way, it should be 90 centimeters away from this equipment and at the level of his head. I would say, yeah, just like that. Straight ahead in front of the speaker. So let's equalize. Then we're good.
A carrot is a long
we
reddish-yellow
can turn it
vegetable which has several
Now we
thin
turned it
leaves
on.
a long stem, and which belongs to the parsley family. Carrots.
What went wrong?
Was it barely reaching the threshold?
No, it detected that this is not an open fit. It expected that, by calculation, this is not what should be done for an occluded. It should be done for open fit. So now we are off the calculation. It detected that, so it stopped. So what should we do? We go back. Sorry, and choose here, not here. We go here and we say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. There we go. I'm sorry again. Right here. So let's say CIC. That's the closest. Now let's do a recording again.
A carrot is a
It didn't
long
ask
reddish-yellow
for
vegetable which has
equalization,
several
right?
thin leaves
So
on a
equalization
long
is
stem,
just for
and which
open
belongs
fits.
to the parsley family.
And
Carrots
if
are
the
grown
number's
all over
not
the
or
world in
beyond what's
gardens
expected,
and in
the
the
machine
wild
will
in
tell you
fields.
something went wrong. I didn't
A
record yet,
carrot is a
so
long
I'm going to record
reddish-yellow
right now.
vegetable which has
We are
several
using
thin-
average speech at 65. We waited too long. There we go.
A carrot is a long reddish-yellow vegetable which has several thin leaves on a long stem, and which belongs to the parsley family. Carrots are grown all over the world in gardens and in the wild in the fields.
Perfect. So now you can tell me what that is, right?
Yeah.
So this is the normal threshold.
Yes.
This is the uncomfortable level.
This is
Where did these come
banana.
from?
From
This is
the
calculated based on the
average.
threshold that you
From the
put.
formula. Good. And these are his thresholds.
Yes, and these are the targets.
And these are the targets, the crosses.
Mhm.
If we don't have a fitting formula, we would increase the fitting to have all the speech banana above his threshold, right?
Mhm.
But with the formula now we can be very, very
Accurate.
accurate, and we just have to match this LTASS
The
with,
green one?
yeah, the dark green line
With the
with the
threshold.
targets. So maybe a little bit more here, a little bit more here, but overall this is a very nice fitting, right? And you feel it's nice.
Yes.
Good. So you can record again using something else.
Soft sound.
Let's do soft sounds.
A carrot is a long reddish-yellow vegetable which has several thin leaves on a long stem, and which belongs to the parsley family. Carrots are grown all over the world in gardens and in the wild in the fields.
Perfect. It's whistling because maybe it's not deep enough or it's not sitting well in his ear, right? Or maybe because we have the tube against it, so it's a little bit
Yeah.
off its original position. This might be due to the feedback.
Mm.
We can do a feedback test and we can see. Or maybe his fitting for softer sounds is a little bit different. They enhance these frequencies for him for softer sounds. That's all a possibility. So right here, let's do NPO.
Maximum
It says,
power output.
exactly. Now at 85, we can change that, but now here are the targets. See that?
Yeah.
For the uncomfortable levels. And let's see. Sound speaker overdriven, decrease speaker distance.
Are we going to get closer?
Let's see. Oh, it's this one. loud. Let's do a little less. Also, okay, greater than the present safety. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's do. شغل المكيف. Oh, maybe it's too soft then. No limit. Okay, so what happened is this. It's telling me the maximum to protect the patient. So it was too soft and the output will be louder than that, so it was warning me. So I told it no limit, but I can increase the maximum by these levels, okay? Got it? So now, let's repeat it again. Overall, we're still in good condition, except maybe for this one. So the loud sounds or the MPO should be reduced a little bit right here. Make sense? Perfect. And of course you have one more option to do.
Isn't it loud?
Well, you can do whatever you want. You can do your own voice if you want. We can do a teletest, which is very interesting.
Own
Let's do
voice
a
is when you
teletest.
have to repeat the sentence, right?
Carrots are grown all over the world
So,
in gardens and in the
Let's
wild
do a
in the
teletest. I connected the telephone now.
is a long reddish yellow
Look at this. Now I'm holding this here. Do you hear anything from the speaker? No. Why? But he hears it. He can hear it because now he's listening to the telecoil coming from this one. And of course I have to hit record. Hit record for me. I got it, don't worry. There we go. So now I can compare the telecoil response to the microphone response and validate if the telephone is doing okay. You see that? So now, this was at 65 dB. Which one was for 65? The green line. So now you can see that the yellow line and the green line are pretty close to each other, and that's good. So telecoil input of the hearing aid is perfect.
Oh, okay.
Now, let's do, of course, as I told you before, you can show whatever you want. That's the what I told you before in the slides. You can take off anything you want, the screen, and put it back. I can hide and show whatever I want, okay? Using these. Got it?
Yep.
So it's just to manipulate the view. Now let's go back to the main screen and test. Now with directionality we can do that, right? Why? Because we need the reader speaker. But if we do have the reader speaker, we'll place it 90 centimeters behind him, and he will be 90 centimeters in front of this. And then it will produce signals from both sides, and you will see two curves, not one. If they are identical, then there is no directionality. If one is better, usually the front one is better than the rear one, which is the dark line versus the thin line. It will show that it's louder, and that will show you the amount of directionality. Let's do noise reduction. Noise reduction also requires both speakers, but we can do it with one, but it's less reliable. I'll show you. So let's skip to noise reduction. Okay, so now let's do single view. Let's do the test. We're gonna do vacuum, and we have air conditioner. Let's do vacuum. How about 90? I'm gonna screw you, my friend. Don't worry. Okay, so now we're gonna start. Let's go. We have to wait for at least 20 seconds. It says overdriven. It's too loud. Decrease the speaker distance or decrease the volume. So now it wants us to do it at 80. Let's do it at 80. This is overdriven. Now this one is saturated. It told us that. So as we wait, So as you can see, the NR, you see that? That's the average noise reduction. So it says 3 decibels. So is that very good? Not
No.
really. We should be at least 5 or more, but 7 or more is the one that we're looking for. 15, perfect. Yeah, 15, that is wonderful. You can do it again using the air conditioning if you want, but you also have to wait. And that's noise reduction for softer sounds.
Mm.
Let's see how that works. Same thing, we have to wait. So, of course, that tells you that it's not doing very well. Okay, any questions about that? So noise reduction is not very good.
Yeah.
Which level of technology is this one?
Which level?
Yeah, what's the name of the model?
Widex
221.
Beyond.
Yeah, which level? 110, 220, 330, 440?
I
You
don't
can-
know. I don't recall.
I think it's 110.
Maybe.
And 110 has limited noise reduction ability, so if noise bothers you, probably you need to increase the technology. Okay, now moving on. Manual control, same thing. You can provide a specific tone to see the level and the distortion and all that stuff. So let's see if there is some distortion. How about we choose the most important frequency for speech, which is 2K. Distortion is a little, so good. There is no distortion.
Where did you see that?
Right here.
Oh, yeah.
This is what's measured in the probe microphone, reference microphone. This is the gain, the difference between the two. And this is the distortion at loud input at this specific frequency. You can repeat the whole thing for any frequency you want. So back to the main screen. We did this part during the speech mapping, remember?
Right.
The RACD. But you can always come in here and measure it again. Okay? So going back, let's say okay, right click, I would say okay, right click, go back. So occlusion, how do we measure occlusion? See how, it keeps warning me that I disabled the safety level. I said no limit, remember when,
Yeah.
okay, just it keeps warning me. If you don't want to see that screen, you can always go back, and we did it here. So we can always set it up again.
A
Just like
carrot
that.
is a long reddish yellow.
Okay, so we just set the limit again. Anyways, let's go to occlusion. Now, the instruction for this, when I tell you, say E continuously, when I tell you, at your loud voice, not shouting, but your
Okay.
loud voice, okay? But you have to be quick recording because you don't want his breath to end. So when I tell you, you just face the speaker and say E until I tell you to stop.
Okay.
It tells you the instruction. Go ahead.
E.
It has a lot of occlusion. Let's start again.
E.
Sorry, maxed out. How about this? Now, just for demonstration, I'll take the hearing aid off.
Okay.
Okay. We'll do the same thing without the hearing aid. See, now it's better. Louder. There is no occlusion because his ear canal now is open. See that?
Yeah.
So there is a lot of occlusion. Your hearing aid needs
Yeah.
some modification.
They need to change the ear mold?
No, there's some programming to reduce the occlusion.
Okay.
Just a little bit. Do you feel occlusion in your ear?
Not really.
Okay. Well, maybe because he has a lot of hearing loss at these frequencies, so occlusion is not a big deal for him.
Yeah.
But now you can evaluate the occlusion. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's repeat that again.
In fact, sir, you're gonna ask us to do like all of these things that you're showing us?
It can be all of them, some of them, any of them.
Alright, those.
That answers the question.
Let's do it again. That's it. You see, it's full and it's occluded.
أول ما بلش بالإيد دغري صارت حمراء.
It's occluded. So that demonstrates the occlusion effect. Now the feedback test here is a little bit different than what you see in the fitting software. That one uses noises and pure tones. The beauty of this one is that it uses speech samples. So it tells you the possibility of feedback during running speech. So let's do that one.
But before we move on, what about these probe and reference? Like, are they supposed to be at a specific level or something?
No, this one is what's measured in the measuring microphone. This is what's measured in the reference microphone. And
Could those be bad, or could those be the
No, that's
reason for
just what
bad?
it's measuring.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the value of what these microphones are measuring at this point.
This is the difference, right?
No, difference is gain.
Oh, okay.
This is the estimated occlusion.
Okay.
Okay.
Now going back to feedback.
There's going to be like two. This one's going to show the feedback.
Mhm.
If there's no feedback, it should stay at the 0 line.
Exactly. So let's see.
A carrot is a long reddish-yellow vegetable which has several thin leaves on a long stem and which belongs to the parsley family. Carrots are grown all over the world in gardens and in the wild in the fields.
So as you can see, there is no peak at any specific frequency, and they didn't show any. The peak represents the chance of feedback.
Yep.
Okay. So now let's do a louder input.
A carrot is a long reddish-yellow vegetable which has several thin leaves on a long stem and which belongs to the parsley family. Carrots are grown all over the world in gardens and in the wild in the fields.
Again, no feedback. So the feedback setup is okay. It's just it wasn't placed appropriately.
Then
during
what's the green line?
This one was at 65 input. This one was at 80 dB input. So if there is a feedback, and let's demonstrate. So I'll take the hearing aid a little bit out
Yep.
to have feedback.
Okay.
So sorry. Here it is. Now it should have feedback, I
Yeah.
think. Now it's
That's
Yeah.
feeding back a lot. Listen to this.
A carrot is a long reddish-yellow vegetable which has several thin
And
leaves
feedback
on
chance
a
is
long
really high.
stem. A carrot is a long reddish-yellow vegetable which has several thin leaves on a long stem and which belongs to the parsley family. Carrots are grown all over the world in gardens and in the wild in the fields.
And this tells you the frequency of the
Mhm.
feedback.
Exactly. So the first step to fix a feedback is to make sure that it's a proper fitting.
هيك ما
Got
نخفف
it?
البيكس كمان صح؟
So now let's put it back in. Okay. So now the feedback will disappear.
A carrot is a long reddish-yellow vegetable which has several thin leaves on a long stem and which belongs to the parsley family. Carrots are grown all over the world in gardens and in the wild in the fields.
If we insert it deeper, it will disappear completely. So you can adjust the fitting of the hearing aid on his ear and see the effect if you want.
Yes.
And for the peaks, we consider any lower peak or upper peak the same thing, right?
Well, any peak of these, that's the frequency where the feedback will happen.
On the upper graph.
Is this a
This
big
one?
problem,
There's
though?
a kind of
Like
notch
here.
peak.
No, you follow this one for feedback.
And is this a problem if you see something like the small?
Minimal.
Minimal problem.
Now, the last one, insertion gain. Okay, let's see. It's aided response insertion gain. It's a frequency sweep. So now it's not using speech. It's showing you the aided response with tones. So let's record. Okay, what's the input? 65.
Yes.
You see here you have 50, 65, and 80, right?
Yes.
So, according to this fitting formula, the NAP, this is how much the actual frequency response matching the gain of the expected of the formula, or expected from the formula. So this dashed line shows you the the frequency response based on this calculation, how much it should be, and then this is your actual response, and you can adjust according to this. But we no longer do this because we have speech mapping. Speech mapping is way better and more realistic. Okay, so if you want to specifically adjust the frequencies, you can do that. So I can go to 80 now and compare it to the 80 line and see how that matches. I can do 50 and compare it to the 50 line. And I can change the different fitting formula and see all the differences, which is interesting. So let's do the 80.
Do you guys hear this, by the way?
Yeah.
It's exceeded. No, this one is saturated. It exceeded the safety level, I think. Yeah, the safety. So I have to go back to the safety thing in here and adjust it.
No limit?
No
A
limit.
carrot is a long reddish-yellow
Say
vegetable.
record and stop and go back to here. And it says it's unlimited now, but that's okay. And let's record. Let's do 80. Ta-da! So this is how you compare to the fitting formula, if you want to compare to the fitting formula. Any questions?
Nope.
Now your job is to do the assignment and make sure that you practice by hand. Putting the probe in, placing the hearing aid, the problems I showed you that might happen today, you have to catch them if you misplace the probe, because in fact, you will be judged according to your skill, not only your knowledge, okay? So now I'm depending on you guys to spend some time and practice on each other. So don't leave the semester without making sure that you know how to do all of this. Now, at the beginning of this next semester, we will refresh your memory more. We will practice a little bit more, and then you will be doing this in clinic. Okay? Any questions? كل تمام?
Yeah.
Right. Let's go take a break for 5 minutes, then let's continue presentations and let you go.
Actually, doctor,
Yes.
I have a question. For the soft speech mapping, soft sounds, the targets were below thresholds,
Yes.
but the patient wouldn't be able to hear them.
Sure. That's why you do this, to validate what you're doing and adjust the fitting.
So the fitting formula was incorrect in that
No.
aspect?
Oh yeah, now this is Nal. We didn't have DSL. His hearing aid is programmed according to DSL.
Oh, okay.
That's also you have to take care of. Yeah,
Okay.
that's a good point. So you have
Okay.
to match this one with whatever his fitting formula is.
Okay.
So for the assignment, we have to do all the stuff we just did today.
Yes. I think the assignment has all the details needed.
Oh,
So just read it and follow the instructions.
And in total, there are 2 assignments, right?
For this one, no. For me,
No,
this
the
one.
one you gave us yesterday and this one.
Yes.
Okay.
The one I gave you yesterday, I'm gonna print it out and bring it now.
We had an assignment yesterday?
Make sense? All good?
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.